Hey, welcome to a new video. Herbert Chavez hails from the Philippines and first became interested in Superman when he was a young child. As a boy, he collected Superman comics and merchandise and dreamed of emulating his hero in every way possible. In 1995, when he was just 13 years old, he won a local beauty contest dressed as Superman and began performing as a Superman impersonator at local events. In 1998, he decided to take the next step in his transformation and underwent his first plastic surgery. Over the years, he underwent more and more surgeries to achieve the desired appearance. Some of the procedures he had done include chin augmentation, thigh implants, calf implants, changes to his jaw, and even an eye surgery to enlarge his eyes. He tried to resemble the muscular superhuman image, similar to Henry Cavill's portrayal of the superhero. Notably, some surgeons refused to work with him due to his risks, but other doctors eventually agreed to his requests. Despite countless surgeries and a dramatic transformation, he has admitted that he still feels insecure about his appearance. Are you new to this channel? Make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And before we start, also like the video. If you've seen the 2017 film The Greatest Showman, you might be familiar with Letty Lutz, the bearded lady with such a beautiful and powerful voice. The next person on our list bears a striking resemblance to her. Meet Harnam Kaur, a British social media sensation, life coach, and speaker who holds a Guinness World Record as the youngest woman with a full beard. At the age of 24, she grew a beard that was approximately 6 inches long. Harnam was born into a traditional Punjabi family and was diagnosed with PCOS, which caused excessive facial hair growth. Growing up, she always tried to remove her facial hair due to the bullying she experienced. However, at the age of 16, she finally embraced her appearance and decided to grow her beard. Instead of hiding, she works as a model and raises awareness about PCOS. After establishing a strong presence, she started getting modeling gigs, interviews, and other invitations. In 2016, she made history at London Fashion Week, where she became the first bearded woman to walk the runway. Now she models for wanted models in Paris and is featured in magazines and online publications. Elisani is 6 foot 8 inches tall, and her boyfriend Francinaldo is only 5 foot 3 inches tall. Many women prefer a taller man, but for Elisani, that's no problem at all. Her dream is to one day become a famous model and walk on the catwalk, but so far, she's been rejected several times. The girl who has gigantism doesn't mind having to bend over for her boyfriend. Holding hands is also a bit awkward, but they didn't let that incident get in the way of their relationship. The now 20-year-old girl is the tallest teenager in Brazil. Francinaldo couldn't wait to ask her to marry him, because he always fell for taller girls, so the huge difference in height isn't much of a problem for either of them, as long as they're happy together, right? When they walk down the street, they're often stared at, but the couple says that by now they don't care what other people think of them. The next couple proves again that for some people it doesn't matter what you look like. So Sean accepted Amali because he cares a lot about her, and he loves her personality and body. Moreover, thanks to Sean, Amali has learned to love her curves because she's considered herself super fat. Susan explained that she had been fat since the age of 2. All her life, she hated her body, but this changed when Sean, a slim boy, appeared in her life. They met in 2008 through an online video game, and Amali was very insecure about herself when she talked to Sean through video calls. It took a while for the two to realize that they were in love, but one thing led to another, and the two are now happily married. John and Liz Grabowski, along with their albino children, appeared on TLC's television series called Born with Albinism. Their family consists of 2 biological children, Mika and Alex, and 5 adopted children from China, 4 of whom have albinism. The television cameras provided a glimpse into their daily lives and shed light on the challenges they face due to this genetic condition. The story of how the family came together is quite remarkable. Initially, John and Liz set out to adopt a baby girl. However, they eventually explored the world of adoption and were pleasantly surprised when they were matched with Lily. They didn't initially consider adopting children with albinism, but they felt an immediate connection with the girl and knew she had to be a part of their family. After Lily, they went on to adopt May, the only child in their family without albinism. Following May's adoption, they thought their journey to adopt children was complete. Fate, however, had other plans. When they met Kaylin, Liz and John couldn't resist the pull to welcome her into their family, and that's how their family became complete. 11-year-old Bella surprised everyone with hair perfectly divided between blonde and brown halves, the result of a rare genetic condition. Her mother Jenny marvels at Bella's unique hair and notes how passerbys often ask if she has dyed her hair. Bella's mother believes her striking hair is due to poliosis, a condition that results in a lack of pigment in a strand of hair. Poliosis presents a white streak in the hair, eyebrows, eyelashes, and surrounding skin. Bella's eyes even have lashes of different colors, light on the right side and dark on the left. Interestingly, Bella's remarkable feature allows her to choose her hair color daily by changing her part to match her outfit. Over time, they've observed that the dark side of the hair lightens in the summer, forming an unusual pattern. During trips to the supermarket, other people often pause to admire Bella's hair or inquire about its coloring. Mitsuo Matayoshi is a Japanese artist and political activist, known for his eccentricities and an attempt to become Japan's prime minister in the 1990s. Matayoshi is also known for his unique style of art, painting with his feet and using his own blood as a medium. He's participated in various art exhibitions and gained international recognition for his work. Besides his art, Matayoshi is a political activist and has been involved in various social and environmental issues. The man has given himself the nickname Matayoshi Jesus because he believes he is Jesus himself. He claims that the nickname reflects the philosophy of love and peace, as well as his belief in the possibility of a spiritual revolution. Matayoshi is described as someone with a syncretic spiritual philosophy that combines elements of various religions and philosophies. He also believes that his message of love and peace is similar to that of Jesus Christ, and he sees himself as a modern-day prophet. Rob Spence, better known as the Eyeborg, is a Canadian filmmaker who lost his right eye in an accident. Instead of wearing a traditional prosthetic eye, he decided to create a vibrant red prosthetic eye with a built-in video camera. His prosthetic eye allows him to capture his surroundings from a first-person perspective. The camera is operated through a convenient remote control, and Rob can record both video and audio with it. The device also featured a small LED light to assist him in filming in low-light conditions. The Eyeborg project, as it was named, has generated a lot of media attention and has been featured in various documentaries and news reports. It's also opened discussions about the possibilities of human technology integration and the ways in which technology can be used to enhance the human body and its capabilities. Thanks to the camera in his eye, he can capture high-quality video and sound, which is especially useful due to his work as a filmmaker. Rob can also capture images in a way that's impossible with traditional cameras, given his unique perspective. It was a chance encounter at a shopping mall that caught the attention of photographer Amina, as she was immediately drawn to the beauty of a young girl. However, what she didn't know was that the girl named Ependiva had not one but two rare genetic conditions. The girl's appearance is the result of albinism and heterochromia, two extraordinary conditions that have blessed her with a unique look. Her albinism is characterized by a lack of melanin pigment, resulting in her white blonde hair and pale skin. But it's her eyes that can truly enchant you. One eye radiates with a striking blue hue, while the other exudes warmth with a brown tint. Intrigued by this extraordinary combination, Amina was determined to capture the child's essence through her camera lens. With this newfound connection, an eagerly awaited portrait session was scheduled to reveal the depth and complexity of her striking appearance. Lulu Hashimoto is described as the living doll, and not only that, she's also a well-known model who has posed for several magazines and companies. However, Lulu Hashimoto does not look like that, but she's actually using a bodysuit, complete with a wig and mask, that is said to be made by the fashion designer Hitomi Komaki. Her dream was to go through life as a cute doll and move like a human. Lulu believes that she's a real girl, and she never goes out on the street without her bodysuit. This way, she wants to inspire other women to look like a living doll. Her bodysuit was designed to make her look as real as possible. Lulu also made it to the semi-finals of the Miss ID Beauty Contest, a contest for non-human characters. Billy Owen may look bizarre, but there is a brave story behind his appearance. He was once a motorcycle mechanic living in Oklahoma with his wife and 6-month-old son, when he suddenly got headaches and breathing difficulties. At first, doctors couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, but eventually he was told he had to have certain parts of his face removed, including his right eye, in order to survive. He would have had a 10% chance of survival, but with his perseverance, he was able to make it. After a tough time, he had to give up his previous job and decided to become a showman and actor instead. Today he plays zombie roles in music videos and movies, and can be seen in amusement parks. He even got the chance to tell his story at the Venice Beach Freak Show in Los Angeles, where he inspired many people with his positivity. Tim Cannon is the founder of Grindhouse Wetwear, an organization that develops and implants technology into the human body. He's known for his unique approach to integrating technology and biology, capturing the attention of both the media and the scientific community. Tim first gained notoriety in 2013 when he had a device called the Circadia 1.0 implanted in his arm. The device was designed to monitor his body temperature and other physiological data, sending it to his phone for healthy tracking. Since then, Tim has continued to push the boundaries of what's possible with implanted technology, creating devices capable of sensing magnetic fields and detecting hidden electronic signals. He's also been involved in creating an open-source community for biohackers, where people can collaborate on developing new technologies and explore the possibilities of enhanced human capabilities. While Tim's work is highly controversial, his experiments have sparked important discussions about the ethical and societal implications of transhumanism and human augmentation. Eric Sprague, also known as Lizard Man, is an American sideshow artist and entertainer who gained fame for his reptilian appearance. He has a split tongue, horns implanted in his head, and green tattooed scales all over his body, giving him a distinct lizard-like appearance. Eric became interested in tattoos and piercings when he was in his early 20s. He's been performing as the Lizard Man since the 1990s and has participated in numerous sideshow and freak show acts. In addition, he has ventured into other forms of entertainment, including music, comedy, and writing. Eric successfully completed a philosophy degree at Albany University, while pursuing his career as a performer and entertainer simultaneously. He's often spoke about his philosophy and has written academic articles on the subject. But perhaps it was his favorite animal. Who knows? Eric also performed in numerous show acts, including sword swallowing, fire breathing, and acting as a human pincushion. Karl-Heinz Hill from Berlin, Germany sports an exceptionally cool mustache that earned him 8 victories at the World Beard and Mustache Championships between 1999 and 2011. In this competition, it's not about measurements with a tape measure. It's all about how impressive your style is. November is a time when men worldwide grow mustaches to raise money for men's health. Since 2003, this organization has funded many men's health projects globally, changing the way we think about men's health. Karl-Heinz's success is a big deal in the world of mustaches. He's a star at the championships, where he dominates the competition with many participants in their amazing styles. He's a star at the championships, where people from different countries showcase their fantastic facial hair. Germany usually dominates the competition with many participants in their amazing styles. However, the competition isn't just about mustaches. There are various categories for beards and styles. Sean Stevenson is a 42-year-old man who stands 4 foot 8 inches, or 81 centimeters tall. He's now a motivational speaker and had fragile bones as a child. Even if he sneezed, there was a chance of his ribs breaking, but he learned to survive and to love himself. This motivated him to work as a speaker. He also graduated from college and then wrote several books. Many people believe that someone like Sean spent their whole life alone, but he was lucky to meet the woman of his dreams. They had met in 2009, where he was speaking in front of a large audience, and a few years later, they had gotten married. They're often told by people, mainly on the internet, that their love is fake, and that the woman is only with Sean because of his money. But the two don't care, and they're happy together. There's also a complete acceptance in their relationship. The woman tells them that everyone has something, and that something is quite obvious by looking at Sean, but she doesn't mind that at all. This couple's another great example of love being blind. Philippa Ling is from Australia and does not look like the average man. But this was not a problem for Susan. Philip has a disability that requires him to spend most of his time in a wheelchair, while Susan is a woman from Kenya who decided to study in Australia. They met, and after 6 months of courtship, Philip decided to ask Susan to marry him. Philip said that he was very nervous and afraid of the moment, but Susan would not have hesitated for a single moment. She said they had a strong bond, and that the way he behaved overwhelmed her. This moment also drew a lot of attention from the general public. People were like, these two won't even last 3 months, but they were all wrong, because it's now been almost 5 years since Philip proposed to Susan. An 8-year-old albino girl from Yakutia, also known as Narayana, has garnered attention and received offers from modeling agencies due to her unique appearance. With her strikingly pale hair and skin, she earned the nickname Snow White. While she stands out among her family members, all of whom have black hair, local reports have described her as strikingly blonde, with porcelain-like skin. Despite multiple requests from modeling agencies, her mother hesitates to have her daughter pursue a career in front of the camera at such a young age. Fascinating photos of the Siberian Snow White clearly showcases her dazzling pale features. It's also a striking contrast to compare Narayana with her 14-year-old sister, Karina, who has dark hair. Narayana's parents, Alina and Albert, have shared that Narayana is the first albino in their family history. While the girl has shown interest in modeling, her focus for now remains on her childhood hobbies of dancing and drawing. The Himba people inhabit the northern regions of Namibia near Angola and the Skeleton Coast. For Himba women, their hair is of great significance because they believe it demonstrates their strength in this harsh desert environment. They create a special paste from plants, animal fat, and a red substance to color their skin and hair red. This red hue symbolizes life, as it mirrors the color of the earth. Their hairstyles convey much about them, such as their age and their place in the community. In their village, they engage in styling together using hay, goat hair, and additional hair to create beautiful braids. Young girls often have most of their hair shaved, leaving only a small amount on top to create braids. When they reach puberty, their styled hair must cover their faces to avoid drawing male attention. On the other hand, girls of marriageable age display their entire faces. As for a woman who has been married for a year or has had a child, she wears a headpiece made from animal skin. Meanwhile, men wear turbans after marriage, and they never remove them. Caring for their distinctive hairstyles takes a lot of time each day, and they use a special tool to scratch their heads under their turbans. Additionally, they use a mixture to protect their skin and hair from the sun and insects, which turns their skin red, a trait they consider beautiful. They even apply this mixture to their clothes and jewelry. At night, they use wooden pillows to keep their hair looking nice while they sleep. Have you ever wondered what it would be like to be a real-life mermaid as a child? Well, you're not alone. Heidrun Barth, a 41-year-old mother from Saxony, Germany, claims she was born in the wrong body and that she's actually a mermaid. She's obsessed with the character Ariel from The Little Mermaid and spends her free time swimming in lakes and posing on beaches in her custom-made Ariel costume. However, she can't wear a tail in public pools for safety reasons. Her ultimate dream, the final step in realizing her vision as a mermaid, is to buy a seaside house with a spacious pool. Her family supports her double life, and she performs as a mermaid for the public and sells custom-made tails. If you had to choose a Disney character to be, which one would you want to be? Let me know in the comments. Tilly Lockey, also known as the Bionic Girl, is a British girl who has garnered media attention multiple times for her use of advanced bionic arms. Tilly lost both of her hands as a baby due to a severe meningitis infection, but she hasn't let her disability hold her back. She was provided with advanced bionic prosthetic arms that enable her to perform a wide range of activities that would normally be challenging. Her prosthetic arms were produced by Open Bionics, a company specializing in using 3D printing technology to create cost-effective and customizable prosthetics. The arms are controlled by sensors that detect the movements of muscles in Tilly's upper arms. She also has become an advocate for the use of technology to enhance the lives of people who've lost one or more limbs. Additionally, she's an influential figure on social media, using her platform to inspire others and raise awareness about the possibilities of bionic tech. In the world of fashion, there exists a dynamic duo that has captured the hearts of many on Instagram. Meet Rosemary and Christina. They're 24-year-old identical sisters from New York. What sets these fashion-conscious sisters apart is their rare albinism. But the rarity doesn't stop there. The likelihood of twins being born with albinism is so elusive that they remain a mystery to doctors. Growing up on the bustling streets of Manhattan, Rosemary and Christina always had a fiery passion for fashion. However, it wasn't until they embarked on their university journey that their perception of albinism underwent a profound transformation. Surrounded by a community of open-minded individuals at Thomas Jefferson University and Philadelphia University, the twin sisters discovered a newfound sense of acceptance and love. Now armed with their recently earned masters in global fashion enterprise, Rosemary and Christine are determined to inspire others to embrace their skin they were built in. Rosemary and Christina are determined to inspire others to embrace the skin they were born in. Through their ever-evolving presence on Instagram, the sisters showcase their impeccable style, challenge conventional beauty standards, and shed light on the beauty of albinism. Jessica Cox is one of the most admirable people in the world. Jessica was in fact born without arms, but that didn't stop her from becoming the very first armless pilot in the history of flying. This accomplishment also earned her a Guinness World Record and tons of guest appearances on TV shows around the world, such as The Ellen Show and Oprah Winfrey. Jessica, who lives in the US state of Arizona, is also the world's first armless woman to achieve a black belt in Taekwondo. In her childhood, she had to learn to use her feet most of the time. This was really difficult for her, but when she was 14, she discarded her arm prostheses and went on living. Nothing stopped her, as she learned how to drive a car, and she can even fill up with gas. She can also type 25 words per minute on a keyboard, and she's a certified scuba diver. With all her experiences, Jessica has also become a well-known speaker who has now spoken in over 20 different countries. Stan Larkin is one of the people who experienced the powers of science when he survived 555 days without a heart. What kept him going was an artificial heart that was in a backpack and that he carried with him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This equipment is called the Freedom Diver, which uses two tubes under Stan's ribcage connected to a power source inside the backpack. When Stan Larkin was 16 years old, he played basketball near his house and suddenly collapsed. His doctors said that heart problems are most common among athletes like him. At the time, he was given a defibrillator, a small device that uses electrical charges to repair abnormal heartbeats. Eventually, Stan had to undergo a heart transplant, but there was no donor at the time. So while he waited, he had to live with an artificial heart. Despite all this, Stan still managed to continue playing basketball. After losing both legs in a climbing accident at age 17, Hugh Herr turned to engineering and science to continue rock climbing, revolutionizing the world of prosthetics as we know it. He earned a degree in physics from Millersville University and a degree in biophysics from Harvard University. Today, he's a professor and head of the biomechatronics group at MIT Media Lab. Hugh's team has developed several groundbreaking devices, including the world's first powered ankle-foot prosthesis and a bionic knee that allows the wearer to control the joint through muscle contractions. He also designed prosthetic limbs with sensory feedback, making them feel more natural and enabling smoother movements. Hugh's prosthetic legs are designed to be highly functional and replicate the sensation and motion of natural limbs. In 2011, Time magazine named him leader of the Bionic age, and that same year, he became the holder of 10 patents related to prosthetic devices. Valeria Lukyanova is a Ukrainian model who became famous for her striking resemblance to a Barbie doll, including a narrow waist and blonde hair. She gained a lot of attention in 2012 after photos of her were posted online, and she quickly became known as the human Barbie. However, there's two different reports about the woman that we need to discuss. One tells that she openly admitted to having undergone some cosmetic procedures to achieve her doll-like appearance. Other reports claim that she has stated that she has hardly changed her appearance since her teenage years. In this latter report, the woman attributes her appearance to genetics, a healthy lifestyle, and makeup techniques. She also believes that she has inspired women to be physically fitter and take better care of their bodies. A woman from Louisiana named Avon Dugas holds a remarkable Guinness World Record for the largest afro. Her afro is truly massive, measuring at about 10 inches high, 10.2 inches wide, and 5.4 feet in circumference. She achieved this record in both 2010 and in 2021. It all started when her sister posted a photo of her online, and someone suggested she should try for the Guinness World Record for the largest fro. Avon thought, why not, and submitted her photo, catching the attention of the record keepers. Avon has been growing her hair for a very long time, approximately 24 years. She stopped using chemicals to straighten her hair in 1999 because she wanted to embrace her natural hair. Initially, people made fun of her, but things changed as more people began to appreciate natural hair. Her hairdresser is always amazed because Avon styles her own hair, and the hairdresser only needs to trim it occasionally. Many people are dog lovers, but few would go as far as marrying their dog. 49-year-old Amanda Rogers did just that. In 2014, she married her dog Sheba at a ceremony in Croatia. The woman claims to have found happiness with her dog after all kinds of previous relationships failed, and her dog Sheba was always there for her. The dog made her laugh and comforted her when she needed it. Amanda and her dog are one of the most special couples in the world, but she's not the only person who has ever married a dog. In July 2019, there was a woman named Elizabeth Hode who married her golden retriever, named Logan. The woman told ITV that after 4 failed engagements and 221 failed dates that she had given up and realized that she wanted to be with her dog forever. The woman married live on TV, and I can imagine that many viewers have the thought that this was for show, but that was not the case. We always hear the advice that you should love yourself, but it seems that Li Yu has taken this a little too seriously, because in fact, he married himself. To be exact, he married a life-size photo of himself. This happened in 2007, and it was not a quiet and intimate wedding. In fact, he invited his entire village, and the wedding took place in the main square of Guangzhou in China. When asked why he decided to marry himself, he replied that he was not satisfied with reality, and that getting married helped him reinvent himself. He also admitted that although many people find his behavior hilarious, deep down he's very traditional and conservative. And that was the reason why all the traditions were honored during the wedding ceremony with himself. Connie Chiu grew up in one of the many housing estates in Kowloon, Hong Kong in the 1970s. She vividly remembers often suffering from the scorching summer sun while growing up in the city. Seeking relief from the intense sun, her family made a life-changing decision when she was 7 and moved to Sweden. Connie began her modeling career in the early 1990s, taking her first step into the industry at the age of 24. Now in her late 40s, she skillfully balances her modeling work with a newfound passion for jazz singing. Her adventure in the world of modeling began at the age of 21, when her sister approached her to participate in one of her last fashion shows. A few years later, her professional modeling career kicked off, after renowned French fashion designer Jean-Paul Gaultier responded positively to a black and white photo she sent him. Her journey included gracing magazine covers and walking runways for top fashion brands. In addition to her modeling work, she also took on other projects, including memorable appearances in music videos. Letitia Key is one of the modern artists who has conceived unprecedented concepts for hair art. Hailing from Ivory Coast, Letitia became famous for creating intricate sculptures using her hair. To craft her sculptures, she blends extensions with her own hair and uses mirrors to shape them. Sometimes she employs threads and glue to create more complex designs. Her sculptures depict everyday things like household chores or express powerful emotions, like the time she created a uterus with a unique take on ovaries. She also made a sculpture of bulging muscles on slender arms to send a message about bullying. Before all of this, she had earned a degree in business administration, but later switched to art after being inspired by the natural hair movement. The movement is dear to her because she experienced hair loss at the age of 16. She became interested in how people wore their hair naturally in Africa before colonization, and that's how her art journey began. Her sculptures tell stories that make people think, which is one of the reasons she became well known on social media. Tom Leopard, also known as the Leopard Man of Skye, was an English former soldier who gained worldwide fame for being one of the most tattooed people in the world. Tom joined the Royal Navy at the age of 16 and later served in the Parachute Regiment and the SAS. After 28 years of military service, he left the army and became a special education teacher. In the early 1980s, he began covering his body with tattoos in a leopard-like pattern. Tom gained worldwide recognition for his tattoos and was even listed in the Guinness World Records as the most tattooed man in the world. He lived alone for more than 20 years in a remote stone cottage on the Isle of Skye in Scotland, without electricity or running water. Allegedly, he enjoyed a solitary life, but eventually moved to a one-bedroom apartment in Bradford. It's not entirely clear what inspired Tom to cover his body in tattoos, but he likely had a deep affection for leopards, leading him to decide to become one. James Young is a British man who received a custom-made bionic arm as part of the Alternative Limb Project. The advanced prosthesis was designed to look like something from a video game, with features inspired by the Metal Gear Solid series. The arm is equipped with a drone that can be controlled through the wearer's smartphone, a built-in screen for displaying messages or images, a USB port for charging devices, and a flashlight that can be turned on and off with a wrist movement. The Alternative Limb Project is a collaboration between various artists, designers, and engineers to create prosthetic limbs that are both functional and aesthetically interesting. They create personalized prosthetics for people without arms or legs that can reflect their interests and personalities, rather than just being a functional replacement for a limb. James Young's bionic arm is an example of the kind of creative and innovative prosthetics that can be created with modern tech. The arm combines functionality and artistic expression, allowing James to express himself through his prosthetic limb. In interviews, he said that the arm's given him a new sense of freedom and confidence, as well as a stronger sense of identity as a cyborg. When Rosamir de Andrada held her newborn baby in her arms, she was astonished by the striking differences in appearance. Despite Rosamir and her ex-husband both being of African descent, their daughter Ruth had fair skin, blonde hair, and blue eyes. This surprising contrast was a result of Ruth's rare genetic condition called albinism. Later, Rosamir had 2 more children with albinism. The stark contrast between the mother and the 3 of her children is so pronounced that she's often mistaken for their babysitter. People with albinism are frequently exposed to various challenges. In the case of these children, they're highly sensitive to sunlight, requiring them to apply SPF 100 sunscreen every 2 hours and limit their outdoor activities to nighttime. Besides the societal challenges, the children struggle with their educational journey. Albinism often leads to poor eyesight, making it difficult for them to see the blackboard or fully participate in lessons. On hot days when the sunlight is intense, the albino children must seek shelter to protect their sensitive skin from the blinding sun. The next woman on this list is Sarah Gertz, a 30-year-old model known for her wrinkly skin. When Sarah was 10 years old, she was diagnosed with dermodysplasia Ehlers-Danlos. This is very rare, and there's only 11 known cases of it. It causes problems with the connective tissue of her skin, preventing her body from producing collagen. As a result, her skin wrinkles, and she looks less young than she really is. Sarah once admitted in an interview that her skin was her biggest insecurity. In school, she tried to hide her skin as much as possible, but over time, she learned to deal with it, and she has now accepted it. She now regularly posts pictures of herself on Instagram, and she hopes that she can inspire other people with this. Pyongyang Shin from Korea may look like a typical 12-year-old boy, but he's actually 31 years old. And proof of this is his ID card, which says he was born in 1989. His appearance is due to Highlander syndrome. So far, little is known about it, but according to experts who have studied it, Highlander causes the body to age at a very slow rate. It resembles the counterpart of the more common genetic case, progeria, where a person begins to age at a very young age. Shin wouldn't even have reached puberty yet. His aging seemed to stop when he was in high school. The boys at school were all getting a deep voice, but Shin kept a high voice, and his height stuck at 1.63 meters. But this didn't stop Shin from living a normal life. He has friends, and when he feels like it, he also dates. Matthew Nagel gained international fame in 2004 when he became the first person to control a computer cursor using a neural interface. He became paralyzed from the neck down after a fight at a party in 2001. The BrainGate system used an implant in his brain to detect the electrical signals related to his intentions to move his hand or arm. These signals were then translated by a computer algorithm into commands that could be used to control a computer cursor. Matthew used the BrainGate system to operate the cursor on a computer screen and perform tasks such as selecting letters and words, also opening and closing windows and playing simple games. The BrainGate system represented a breakthrough in neural engineering, showing the potential use of neural interfaces to give people with paralysis more independence and control over their environment. These neural interfaces can also support individuals with neurological conditions like ALS and Parkinson's disease, improving their quality of life. Anthony Lafredo is a French artist who has recently gained fame for transforming his body to look like a black alien. He achieved this by tattooing his skin and other parts of his body to achieve a darker hue. In an interview, Anthony stated that he underwent the transformation to express himself and encourage people to be more accepting of those who are different. However, he's also faced some challenges since the transformation, including being denied entry to restaurants and other public places. His transformation received mixed reactions from the public, with some applauding him for his creativity and self-expression, while others criticize his choices as extreme. On the other hand, advocates argue that it's a form of self-expression that allows individuals to take control of their bodies and define their own identity. They argue that people should be free to modify their bodies in any way they choose, as long as they're aware of the risks and make informed decisions. Caitlin Samples, a mother from Roswell, Georgia, received a surprising message on Instagram about her 10-month-old son, Lachlan. A concerned stranger inquired if Lachlan had been diagnosed with Uncombable hair syndrome, or UHS. This made her worried, as she was unaware of it and thought that Lachlan's hair was just normal. UHS causes hair to grow in a strange way, standing up and being too difficult to comb. The syndrome typically occurs in children aged 3 to 12. Doctors say this happens because of how the hair root looks under a microscope. It has a triangular shape with grooves rather than cylindrical, making it challenging to comb. This type of hair is super rare, with only about 100 known cases worldwide. There is also no definitive treatment, but here's the good news. It often gets better by the time kids reach puberty. Lachlan's mom says his hair must be handled gently as it easily tangles. She washes it only once a week because it doesn't get greasy quickly, and his hair doesn't readily absorb water, making washing a bit tricky. Lachlan's hair has a mind of its own, standing up and remaining soft and fluffy since he was a little baby. People even call him a baby chick because of how his hair looks. Zhang is a 33-year-old man who, according to himself, has failed to find a spouse, so he decided to marry a robot. And not just any robot. In fact, he built the robot himself. The Chinese engineer had grown tired of finding someone to marry, so in May 2017, he married Ying Ying. In fact, his family was constantly nagging him to get married, so he decided to marry the robot he had built the year before. The ceremony was attended by his mother and friends in the city of Hangzhou, China. The robot can read and speak different Chinese words, and can also read different pictures. The man eventually plans to upgrade his bride to be able to walk and do various household tasks. Nowadays, he makes robots for other single men. In fact, there's a huge gender imbalance in China, with 113 men for every 100 women. So Zhang has a huge potential market. Nick is an Australian man from Melbourne, and he's a popular motivational speaker. What makes him unique from the rest of us is that he has no arms or legs. No doubt his life has been challenging and he has faced huge obstacles because he looks different from many other people. Years ago, he thought he would never get married until he saw Kanai. The two met at one of Nick's gigs in Texas, and when Nick saw her in the crowd, he couldn't take his eyes off her. Nick wanted to get to know her, so he gave the woman his contact information. Kanai accepted Nick as he is, and because of this, the story also has a happy ending, as the two are happily married and they have 4 kids together. This couple's definitely an example of what you call true love. In Istanbul, Turkey, a family of 4 faces numerous challenges due to their shared genetic condition. We now know that albinism is a hereditary condition, present from birth. Both parents must carry the gene to pass it on, even if they don't have albinism themselves. In this case, both parents had it, and they acknowledged that living with albinism can be tough and cause issues. When the parents were growing up, they didn't have much information about the condition, unlike what's available today. The father, who works in a mosque, still encounters ignorance because of his appearance. The mother, who teaches geography at a high school, has experienced being treated differently solely based on her appearance. Despite the challenges, the parents strive to instill self-esteem in their kids. They constantly remind their children of their beauty and hope for a more positive and accepting attitude. This is Joseph Grissamore from Park Rapids, Minnesota, who secured a spot in the Guinness World Records of 2021. He achieved the highest full Mohican mohawk, a record he attempted before. Standing at an impressive height of 43 inches or 108 centimeters, his striking hair is hard to miss. Joseph finds the uniqueness of the mohawk appealing and also enjoys the priceless reactions of people when they encounter him on the street or elsewhere in town. But living with such hair can be quite challenging, especially when navigating doorways, low ceilings, and getting into cars. At the end of the day, it's all worth it. Joseph's first attempt to grow the tallest mohawk was in 2007, but he hesitated because he would have to shave the sides of his hair to participate in the competition, which he really didn't want to do. It also didn't help that his hair got too tangled during the process, but after some time, he finally decided to grow his hair again for more than 7 years. Thanks to his hairstylist Kay, who experimented with techniques to elevate his hair without traditional methods. Additionally, Joseph keeps his long hair braided or knotted to manage the considerable length and prevent himself from sitting on it. Cons James is a 37-year-old business manager from Salford in the United Kingdom who lives his life as a human puppy. He claims that he's never felt like a human and has always felt like an out-of-place dog. James enjoys wearing custom-made rubber outfits, masks, dog collars, and harnesses to get into his true self. He eats his food from a dog bowl and barks at strangers and fellow puppies on the street. James says his lifestyle revolves around being a pup, and that it's a form of self-expression. He admits that his behavior was already quite dog-like in his childhood, likely from the age of 6. In addition, he's written a book titled How to Train a Human Pup, and owns 2 custom-made rubber suits. It's a way for him to escape the stress of daily life, and enjoys the freedom that comes with being a pup. Recently, a Japanese man also went viral for spending over $14,000 to transform himself into a dog. He ventured out in the public, and many people believe he was actually a dog. According to the man, he even follows a special dog diet in his daily life. You've heard of activists, but have you heard of cyborg activists? Moon Rebus is a Catalan artist known for her work exploring the relationship between the human body and technology. In 2013, she co-founded the Cyborg Foundation with Neil Harbison, an organization promoting the use of technology to enhance human abilities. Her most notable experiment involved implanting a device in her feet that allowed her to feel earthquakes occurring worldwide. The device, called the seismic sensor, would vibrate in response to earthquake intensity, enabling her to experience vibrations through her arm. She saw the implant as a way to extend her sensory experience beyond what's typically possible for humans. For her, being a cyborg is not just about art, it's about experiencing reality in a different way. For instance, if we can better understand what it's like to be a bird or a bat, we will gain deeper understanding of their perspectives. A 4-year-old girl named Joanna was found wandering in a market in China, blind and confused. She was taken to an orphanage, where a few years later, an American couple adopted her. The American couple explained that when they first walked in, the other children were scared, while Joanna was the only one smiling. She approached them, took their hands, and led them to play on the slide. The girl was incredibly happy when the couple took her home. At the age of 9, her parents realized she was obsessed with skateboarding and dancing. In an interview, her parents also revealed that they knew she had albinism right away, but they didn't know the specific condition. It turned out that she had a rare genetic neurological disorder, known as FBX011. Mutations or variations in the FBX011 gene are associated with certain neurological development disorders and intellectual disabilities. The following anonymous girl, known only as Jeannie or Baby Girl, went viral on the internet a while ago, because in fact, she looked very much like Esmeralda. They posted several photos on Instagram, and since then, her account has grown to over 225,000 followers. Esmeralda from the Disney movie is often seen as a strong and wild character, but in reality, she's a friendly woman who helps Quasimodo. The photo of the girl, in which she looked very much like Esmeralda, was shared all over social media. Although she's gained a lot of fame, she prefers to remain anonymous. Do you happen to know someone who looks a lot like a Disney character? Let me know in the comments. Georgia Magnetic Man and Magneto are the nicknames of Bar, a 48-year-old former kickboxing coach who set a Guinness World Record and then broke his own record. He was the record holder for most spoons on the human body, namely 53. This rare ability to attract objects to the skin is called human magnetism, and the people who have it are called human magnets. Metal objects are the most common tools of attraction, but there would also be people who can hold other materials, such as plastic, wood, and glass. The man regularly shows that he can pull a Mercedes with a rope attached to his chest, and also pull a metal plate with a boy on top of it. He even believes that he will soon be able to move airplanes and trains as well. Les Baugh is the first person equipped with 2 mind-controlled robotic arms. After losing both of his arms in an accident, he previously used prosthetic arms with limited functionality. However, as part of a clinical study conducted by Johns Hopkins University, he was fitted with new robotic arms. These arms work through a process called targeted muscle reinnervation, which nerves that once controlled his arms are redirected to chest muscles. When he thinks about moving his arms, the signals from these muscles are detected by sensors in the robotic arms, which then translate them into movements. The new robotic arms can move in multiple dimensions, giving Les greater functionality and control over his movements. With these arms, he can perform tasks like picking up and manipulating objects, and even feeding himself. Nayaya Okami is an American woman who identifies as a wolf. She's become a prominent figure in the Otherkin community, a subculture of individuals who identify as non-human. Naya was born and raised in California, and began identifying as a wolf at a young age. The feeling of being a wolf can be traced back to the age of 3 or 4 years old. She is part of the Otherkin community, which consists of individuals who believe they have a non-human identity, soul, or past life. Otherkin can identify as a wide range of animals or mythical creatures. Naya has undergone various body modifications, such as tattooed facial designs, tooth implants, and silicone injections in her forehead to resemble a wolf. Her website features a section dedicated to her spirituality and beliefs. She writes that she is a new soul, recently born as a wolf spirit, and that she feels a deep connection to nature and the spiritual world. Sakal Devtudu is a resident of Mandada village in Bihar, India, and he proudly sports his dreadlocks, measuring about 6 feet or 183 centimeters long, which he's maintained for 40 years. And there's a reason why he chose to grow his hair this long. He claims that God instructed him in a dream never to cut or wash his hair. As a result of this divine intervention, he also gave up drinking and even smoking as a sign of devotion to the deities. He began growing his hair at the age of 22, and when not piled atop his turban, his hair is long enough to reach the ground. Unlike Hindu holy men who sport long jadas, Sakal Dev's hair forms a massive knot, which he covers with a white cloth to keep it clean. Nowadays, more and more people are finding the love of their life online. So did this couple, only they found out they both had the same first name and last name. The woman's name is Kelly Hildenbrandt, and she's from Florida. And the man's name was also Kelly Hildenbrandt, but he was from Texas. They had met on Facebook in May 2008. After the woman ran into the man and saw that he had the same name, she decided to send him a message because she thought it was cool and just to say hello. After 2 months of chatting, they decided to meet, and 8 months later, they even decided to marry each other. They even appeared on national TV. Unfortunately, the couple broke up after 3 years. They had tried, but apparently they weren't the one for each other after all. Nevertheless, this is obviously a very special story, because what are the odds of meeting someone who has the exact same first and last name? Nowadays, we live more and more in a digital world, and we literally cannot live without our smartphones. But have you ever heard of digital love? The following 38-year-old man named Akihiko decided to marry a virtual character. Akihiko is from Japan and decided to get married in 2018 to a virtual character called Hatsune Miku. Akihiko is from Japan and decided to get married in 2018 to a virtual character called Hatsune Miku. Hatsune Miku was created by Gatebox and is designed for people who want to live with and talk to virtual characters. The man bought the Gatebox for emotional support and suddenly fell in love with the woman's hologram. The man spent almost $20,000 on the wedding, but unfortunately none of his family members even showed up. However, his friends were there for him and even got support from people online. In Pembroke Pines, Florida, there's a remarkable pair of twins who couldn't be more different. Sharik and Tariq, both 9 years old, have a unique story. Sharik was born with albinism, while on the other hand, Tariq was born without this condition, making their physical appearances markedly distinct. However, this wasn't their parents' first encounter with albinism. They had previously welcomed a daughter with the same condition 10 years before the twins. Now 20 years old, their older sister, Shateria, has become a mentor and source of support for Sharik, who has faced negativity. The twins Sharik and Tariq often encounter disbelief when they tell others that they're twins. Sharik describes Tariq as funnier than her, while Tariq finds herself calmer and simply ignores people's comments. Unfortunately, the older sister also faced bullying due to her albinism while growing up. She recalls being confused about why she was treated differently outside the loving environment she had at home. This unknown man is called Rapunzel and went viral on Instagram after locals filmed him standing atop a low building. Dreadlocks are formed strands of braids of natural hair that can date back to ancient civilizations, and are often associated with spiritual or cultural meanings. In a fascinating 45-second clip, a mysterious man with long dreadlocks captures attention as he unveils his mane to the world. He revealed that he's been growing his dreadlocks for over 40 years. With nimble fingers, he carefully unravels his cascading hair, drawing comparisons to the legendary Rapunzel. His dedication to maintaining and growing his hair has resulted in dreadlocks measuring over 18.7 feet or 5.7 meters long. Several people have noted that these might be some of the longest dreadlocks ever. However, the Guinness World Records holder is Asha Mandela from Claremont, Florida. Her dreadlocks are super long, approximately 19 feet or 5.8 meters, and very heavy, weighing 42 pounds or 19 kilograms. But at first glance, it appears this man could be a worthy contender. Luis Padron is a young man from Argentina who has undergone a transformation to become a real-life elf. His transformation involved 32 surgeries to change his ears, face, and eye color, which cost him around $75,000. However, these body modifications have a negative impact on his health. As a result, he decided to temporarily step away from his elf persona and focus on getting healthier and building more muscle by spending 3 hours in the gym daily. Luis has since gained 44 pounds or 20 kilograms and hopes to reach about 200 pounds or 90 kilograms by the end of the year. Despite his temporary departure from the elf persona, Luis plans to return to his fantasy character look in the future. But you might wonder what inspired him to become an elf in the first place. Since childhood, he's been a fan of fantasy and science fiction, and he's always been fascinated by mythical creatures he read about in books and saw in movies. However, it took him years to achieve these results. Dr. Kevin Warwick is a British scientist and professor of cybernetics at the University of Reading in England. He's considered the world's first cyborg, as he had a microchip implanted in his arm in 1998, enabling him to communicate with computers and other electronic devices. The chip wirelessly connects to a computer, allowing Kevin to control a robotic hand using his own nervous system. He has made numerous contributions to the field of cybernetics, including work in intelligent systems, artificial intelligence, and robotics. He's even speculated on the possibility of implanting infrared sensors to enhance his vision, or GPS devices to assist with navigation. His ultimate goal is to apply robot technology to as many people as possible to improve their lives. Two teenage girls named Lucy Carpenter and Sammy McComb have formed a close friendship that has brought them not only joy, but also boosted their self-confidence through their shared love for fashion. Lucy and Sammy, both diagnosed with a rare form of albinism, crossed paths for the first time in their early years when their mothers met during an event. Lucy explained that she has a specific type of albinism. This condition affects her skin, hair, and eyes, and also causes visual impairments. Her delicate features and sensitivity to light make her particularly susceptible to sunlight. The mothers of these girls recall noticing distinctive features from the moment they were born. For instance, Lucy's mother remembers seeing her baby with a head of full white hair, reminiscent of a little granny. Concerned about her daughter's vision, she took her to an eye doctor when she was only 2 months old. During this visit, the doctor confirmed the absence of color in Lucy's eyes, indicating that she likely had the most severe form of albinism. Sammy's mother only became aware of her daughter's condition when she was just 6 weeks old. Edward Nino Hernandez set a Guinness World Record in 2010 as the shortest and still living man in the world, 70 centimeters long and weighed only 10 kilograms. Edward is the oldest of 5 brothers and sisters, and according to his mother, he stopped growing when he was only 2 years old. He has some problems with his eyesight, but besides that, he's a healthy man. He loves to dance to reggae music and dreams of owning a Mercedes-Benz someday. He also doesn't want his height to stop him from doing things like traveling the world and following his dreams of being a dancer and an actor. Megan Grannon is a 28-year-old teacher from the American state of New Jersey who has metatropic dysplasia, a rare form of dwarfism that affects only less than 100 people in the world. Megan is only 3 feet or 1 meter in length. Because of her length, Megan, who teaches in kindergarten, sometimes finds it difficult to explain to her students that she's the teacher, as some of the kindergartners are actually taller than she is. But despite her condition, she tries to teach the young children how to be compassionate to people's differences. Nowadays, Megan inspires not only her students, but also many other people in the world. What is perhaps even more unique is that she has a twin sister with average height. It's sometimes hard for some people to believe that they're actually twins. Neil Harbisson is known as the world's first cyborg artist. He's a British Catalan artist and cyborg activist who's gained global recognition for his unique fusion of art and technology. Born with a rare condition which prevents him from seeing colors, he decided to create a device, an antenna implanted in his skull, that enables him to perceive colors as sounds. The device consists of a small camera he wears on his forehead, capturing images of the world around him. The images are then processed by a computer and converted into sound frequencies transmitted into an earpiece he wears, allowing him to hear colors in real time. The device itself is quite small, designed for comfortable long-term use. Neil has become a prominent advocate for cyborg rights, which he defines as the rights of people to extend their senses by creating and implanting new organs. He's a co-founder of the Cyborg Foundation, which aims to assist people in becoming cyborgs and promote the use of cybernetics as a means to extend human senses. Do you know someone with albinism? Let me know in the comments. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos we made, click one on the screen or take a look at the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.